All right, guys, I'm going to go over two stocks that everyone has requested me to make and do an update on, and that's going to be Beyond Meat, BYND, and YYAI. They're totally different types of patterns that I see, but yeah, let's go over BYND and go over the chart and what I see here, as this is still one of everyone's most favorite one and has really tons of volume still every day. Of course, we're not in the billions like it had when it had a lot of the hype, but as you can see, we're hitting over 100 million volume every day. So I'm just going to go over what I think. There's going to be a lot of subjectivity of what other people think, but it's very clear. It's very clear that you can see there is strong support right in here. As you can see, price pulls all the way up and pulls all the way back down. And where is it starting to bounce? You can clearly see to a T, the algos want it to come literally at that top here at support. Okay, we do have earnings coming up on November 11th. You can see on here, there's the earnings icon. I personally think that, with this chart oversold this much, I mean, I don't think the earnings is going to be tremendously bad where it goes down a lot. And I think there could be more upside on the earnings, if anything. All right. I truly think that. All right. So we were at this very bottom. Of course, this was everyone's favorite stock way back in 2020. This thing went over 240 bucks way back in the day, right? So, I mean, surely they can get some type of sales down in here where they're doing pretty good, right? We'll see. They have they're in lots of stores, but it's just a matter of, well, how much are people buying it, right? And then we'll find that out real quick on November 11th. Now, here's what I do want to show you guys on the chart standards here. If you look at a typical chart, and this is how I am literally teaching everyone to play these plays. If you look at the chart and you do not see that EMA 200 at the very bottom, you're literally fighting the downtrend as it goes. I could show you different types of time frames. You see how the 15-minute is at the bottom, but do you also see how we're also making a solid uptrend now at the very first time here on the 15-minute. So I tell people, if you really want a tight stop loss and try to get in early when it starts to move, instead of just randomly guessing all throughout here, be like, oh, this is the bottom, right? Because, it should go here. Or this top wick is the bottom, right? That could act as support. And it just keeps going through and through and through and through and through and through. Why not use lower time frames? Like I tell everyone, look at a lower time frame, like on a 1 minute or 5 minute, and when price starts to show monster momentum and curl up, like on the 5 minute, you can see right in here, this is not a bad idea to be like, okay, we're showing pretty good bull power, and price pulling back to this EMA 200 could act as very strong support, and my stop loss would be a previous demand zone and support. So as you can see right here, I put the stop like down under this if it crosses that 10, or if it goes to that 200, and you see how tight your stop loss is. And that's how you can really get precise entries, because when price moves up, it's going to pull back to the reversion of the mean. Everything comes and touches these EMAs, just like in the daily chart. I was screaming, no one should be buying this thing when it's at an upper band. Just think of it as extremely oversold. And when I'm looking at this, you do also see that this actually is still in a downtrend. Just because you break out of a 200 line and you come and it immediately pulls back in, that's it. That's not a good pullback to buy into. I tell everyone, the pullbacks you want are the charts like CAN. These are the pullbacks you want, where it pushes up, pushes down, but you see how the 200's at the bottom. You see how it's totally different. Plug, the 200 is at the bottom. All the big plays that I'm making big money on, what are you seeing? Kura, the 200 is at the bottom. And you'll see time and time again, crowd wave, where are you seeing the 200? At the bottom, acting as support. So when you see this indicator and you see these stocks, big chance it's going to pump on that 200. There's a big solid chance. And if it doesn't, you always have a tight stop loss. I recommend 15%, no more than that. But BYND, if you look at it, there was no actual uptrend on this stock. It was literally a dead cat bounce on a downtrend where you play these. This is how I played my stock like SOC. You see how it, we have one away from this EMA 5. It touches this on the 4th day. You see the pattern on this stock, how it bounces, and all your price targets are to the EMAs. Just like SOC. You see how we're on that EMA 5, we're touching this lower killer, and we hugged it a couple days. I look to get in time distance and use that to get up, just like SOC is extremely oversold. Well, BYND is the same thing. You want to get in really when it's at the lower band. But if you really want to try to catch this, your best way, in my opinion, is to wait for that 5 minute to cross this 200, get an uptrend on a lower time frame at least. Use the 1 minute or 5 minute, whichever you want to use. And as you can see, what is happening, we have a 15-minute uptrend. We have a 30-minute still in a downtrend. But if this starts to uptrend, the 15-minute bounces on here, then the 30-minute will bounce. And then, as you can see, what do we have? A downtrend on the 1 hour. And so you're trying to work your way up to be like, okay, well, if we do come back to this 200, look at this 18% return. And I will take money as it goes out, and I'll go break even. That's my best way to do it. If instead of just randomly guessing, you can clearly see that this isn't a downtrend on the 1 hour. But I would work my way up on small time frames and go in from there. And then use your clear supply and demand. Well, here is your demand where price consolidated, right? Look where price consolidated, and then you put your stop loss, right under that consolidation, which was right in here. So that's the best way to play. Now let's go to the next ticker, YYAI. YYAI is the same type of play that I would play, a downtrend type of play. You see how the 200 is at the upper, but I preach to everyone, the minute you do not touch this EMA 5 in a very long time, all price action touches it. Granted, there is crappy stocks that take longer. Example, Chinese stocks, penny stocks. They do take longer, and lesser volume doesn't help the case. This one has, I wouldn't say terrible volume, but it's not like, wow, that's amazing volume, right? But as you can see, this EMA 5 has not got touched in a long time. I tell everyone, if you watched one of my videos way back, if you buy a penny stock and you want to swing it, most of the time, if they do not move pre-market, they will not move during the market hours. The algos kick in and they dilute it, and it goes down and down and down. This is the same reason how I caught BYND for over 1,500% return. As you can see, I bought it here, and I was going to sell it pre-market. It didn't move. Well, it was moving pre-market, so hence why it's probably going up to that EMA 5. I have a mathematical formula. Decent companies that don't touch the EMA 5 in 7 days is long, but if you have crappy penny stocks, like Chinese ones, usually if they don't touch the EMA 5 in over 12 days, is considered really long. And if you look at YYAI, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're on the 12 days. We're, you can expect a bounce very soon, at the very least. All right. Obviously, I think everyone's got burned the heck out on this one, so I'm not sure if there's a lot of people in it. You're looking at a 6% to that EMA 5. Is that worth it for you? Most people, probably not. Most people are probably looking to this EMA 5 or EMA 10. Actually, most are probably struggling there, but this EMA 10 is sitting at over 150% return. And if it goes to the 20, don't count on this, but you can see your price targets. It's sitting at 969%. I wouldn't put my targets on that. The last time I played YYAI was on this candle, and I was going to sell pre-market. It didn't go up. And as you can see, it was moving pre-market. It moved over 200%, hit the 5. Guess what? That's a sell signal. When price has not touched the EMA 5, and the very first time it touches the EMA 5, there's a good chance it will go down. And that's what happened. It went down. It wanted to touch the 10, but it did not, as it did not follow through, and it went all the way down. We had this reverse split that got rid of a lot of the momentum, and it just kept going down and down and down and down. Well, as price action works, EMAs act as support resistance. When price is below it, they can act as resistance. So if you keep touching that EMA 5, you better believe it, you're going to go to the 10. When you pounce on the ceiling many times and you just keep hitting it, it's going to break that, and it's going to go to the 10. So I will have no doubt that this thing will eventually go to the 10, but you do not want to hold this thing You do not want to hold this thing when it is past, pre-market if you're swing trading it. I tell a lot of people, a lot of times what I like to do is wait for that 1 minute. When there's strong volume, like if I, when I looked at DBLT and I was telling everyone, this is how I love freaking trading pennies. When you see strong volume like this and it's puncturing way up to those upper bands, like we know that's unsustainable. Yay, we're hitting the upper bands. You can't sustain that, right? So it pulls back. Where does it pull back? To my favorite area, which is the EMA 200 on the 1 minute, and that's where you would look for a precise entry. And then your stop loss would be a strong demand zone, which is very tight, which would be this lower wick right down in here, and your stop loss is very tight. And as you can see, where did you make the big bunks, or the big bucks, is way up in here. You're making 25%. That's what I'm kind of waiting for YYAI. If you're going to swing it and want to get in early, you got to get in out. You got to get out of pre-market if it does nothing. Because if it does nothing, it's probably not going to move. Or you just wait for price to hit an upper band and start to make, lots of good volume. Not something like this where it's just, this right here is no direction. Down, up, down. We want to see a big amount of volume in like over 10 minutes above this 200, right? Something like that touches the bands here. And you can see we are still in a downtrend on this 1 minute. And until we see something like exciting happening, then we go for it. Like this one right in here, you can see like, it was looking very good, right? But as you can see, it did not follow through. And look how minor the stop loss would be. Instead of just bag holding something, look at that, 2% stop loss. Instead of just bag holding and waiting for the best, that's how I would play this one. Put up your chart like mine, and then, be patient. Instead of just randomly guessing like a lot of people do on stock Twitter, they're just like, I'm just going to keep buying every dip and dip and dip. And there's no stop loss. There's no risk management. That's how I would play this one, is wait for some volatility to come in. We know this is going to touch the 5 and maybe 10. And once it breaks that volatility like DBLT did, then you look for that pullback on the 1 minute. Or play it at the end of the day, towards the end of the bell, get rid of it pre-market if it don't pump by I would say by 7:30 in the morning. There's different ways to play it. My safest bet is to play it on the 1 minute, strong volume, at least 10 minutes above the EMA 200. Wait for a pullback, have your stop loss at that demand zone, and then either works or don't. That's literally how simple trading is. It's just a probability game. But those are my two things. This was a deep dive in technical analysis on BYND. BYND is, looking, decent. We'll see if it holds this thing. I think the earnings is really going to be the crucial part. It's kind of a coin flip. And then YYAI is kind of like the same pattern where the 200 is above. And you see how a lot of people are just trying to guess the random thing. Always have a stop loss, guys. Never be that person that they blow their whole account on one trade. You can win dozens of trades with me in my Discord. And if you let one trade blow your account, you're out of the game. No trader will win every time. I repeat, no trader will win every time. You have to understand is losses happen. Here's my risk versus reward. Here's my stop loss, and know exactly your game plan. Put it on a sticky note and know exactly what you're doing. If you want to learn more of what I do every day, I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Join the Discord if you're not already. Click the link down below in YouTube comments below and in the description. It'll say join the premium Discord for my alerts. This video went kind of a little longer. I went into a deep dive on how I plan to do these. But click the link down below. It'll take you to this free chat landing page. Hit how to subscribe and hit hashtag day trade alerts. And you get access to everything for $12 a month. And you get literally $12 a month. And if you use your computer, you'll avoid the iOS fees. So if it charges you a little more, just make sure you use your computer. If you have an Android, you will have to use your phone's browser or just use a computer. All right. And you'll get access to all the alerts that I post every day. And then my subscription channels, chat things, and then obviously live streams every day that I go live. I really want the best for everyone. I know a lot of people got burned on both these stocks. That's why I want the best for everyone. Just learn from it. If you really took a monster loss, don't blame anyone. Just understand is, hey, this is tuition that I paid that I will never go into the FOMO, the hype. I will always have a clear risk reward. I will always have a game plan and a stop loss. And I will use a strategy that starts to find out when something is beginning to switch trends, like as you can see BYND, I will try to use, instead of just randomly guessing, I will say, okay, when we get above this 200 and this 200 is at the bottom and we retrace to it, I'm going to get in on that 200 and my stop loss will be at this demand zone. That way, if this does flush through, I'm not losing tons of money like everyone else. I just get out and get in on a better entry when it decides to show strength. Anyways, guys, if you guys like this video, give it a like, subscribe, comment. Definitely join the Discord. It's only $12 a month. I'm going to work my butt off to make sure you all are profitable. And I'm going to share my strategies that I've been doing this for over 10 years, mastering the markets, finding which one works best for, for you and me. I'm a reversal type of trader, so I look for, either monster discounts, and I start to see a switch in the trends, and I get in on that, and I ride it, and I have a clear stop loss. A lot of people, once you just realize that, having a stop loss and understand that you will lose trades, you will not get scared when you get in. A lot of people expect perfection. There is not perfection in the market. Just understand you're taking a risk that the best traders in the world in Wall Street will lose. They have actually very low win percentage, but when they win, they ride it out and they take advantage of it. All right, instead of just buying the dip, constantly on this stock when there's no clear reason why. We're definitely not at this lower band. The only thing, when I made a video on this way back, and you can look at my YouTube, I said buy the dip on this area because this is unsustainable oversold, right? And as you can see, BYND will pump there, right? All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. Give it a like, subscribe, comment. I hope to see you guys in the Discord. I'll see you guys there. Peace out.